And welcome back to the spiral lamp part 4, where we'll be fitting the LED strings into the metalwork and working out how to handle the base. I'm going to power the LED strip from each end so that it gets powered evenly, as it is about 1.2 meters long, and that's the plan. As you can see here, I'm going to give a little extra wire length to wire in when it's in the base. Right, here I'm going to add the wiring to the bottom of the string so that it's fed from top to bottom. Little blue wire you see here is the data wire, and that comes out the bottom of string 2 and it joins with another little blue wire that comes in from the top of string 1 to give us one long continuous string. And I'm wrapping the joints with Captain tape to make sure they're nicely insulated from the metal framework of the lamp. Just to save time, I'm only going to show one spiral of the lamp being fitted with its LED string. Yeah, obviously the other one was just a repeat of this. Right, just getting to the bottom, slid on some heat shrink tubing just to cover up the last joints, and then the wires will be passed through the frame, and then I'm going to put some red heat shrink sleeving over the wires just to make them a bit neater, and the two blue wires will be joined up to provide the string. This is just a bit of housekeeping just to make it a little bit tidier. Having problems getting all the wire because the heat shrink wasn't that thick. But we'll get there in the end. It was a good idea at the time, using the only heat shrink I had of that sort of size. Serious problems. It's not as easy as you think getting all these wires down one piece of heat shrink tubing. Bit of lubrication could be in order. As you can see, warts and all, we'll get there in the end. And here we have it, success. all wires nicely sleeved. Having problems pushing it up the cable now because it's quite tight in there. A bit of lubrication, bit of sewing machine oil just helps get it through the hole. Worst thing now, I'm going to get all slippery with the oil. Now hopefully cleaning it off with some IPA. And it comes to the point now where the base is almost finished, and we'll have to think about how we're going to join all the wires together and where the board's going to go. So we're looking at putting it into the hole in the base. That was the original intention. All the wires and the board will go into the base. But, too much of the blue. That will get cut off later. And it's still a bit oily. And a bit more wiring up with some heat shrink tubing just to tidy things up a bit. Yeah, just been racking my brains and thinking that the hole that's in there, which is only about that deep, about 1.5 centimetres maybe, or 1 centimetre deep, isn't going to be big enough for the wiring to go in and for the board, even if I make it smaller. But there is this ledge here, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. So what I'm thinking is I could make a plate to go around there, and not only will it keep all the wiring tidy, but as long as it's not as thick as this ridge or the stand, it will be good. And it will still allow wires to come in here because there's a gap here. You can see it, there's a gap there. I can still bring the wiring into there and use that as a sort of wiring tie point, and then the board will probably sit nicely in there, and it will hide all the wiring, of course, which is even better. So I'm just going to scratch my head now whether I should 3D print that or whether I should go up and mill it out of a piece of Perspex.
One laser cut base later.
That's going to go on the bottom. If I lift, this thing is 1.2 meters tall. It's very hard to get it on my desk in view. I can't really look at the bottom because the top's too tall. But if I stick all that in there now, give this a case, some black paint, that's going to go in nicely and nicely hide everything like my hand is doing. So that's going to tidy up all the wiring. I think with 4 screws holding it, a piece of 3mm ply is probably going to be okay. So it's sitting just below the feet, so job's a good one for that bit anyway. For software testing, and while I wait for the new ESP8266 boards to arrive with the antenna connection, I've just stuck the board on top. That's one of my development boards. So if we just sort of move in, you can see 8266 with some switches for programming and reset, and the little board floating in the air is a level changer, and the chip down there with the 3 legs is a 3.3 volt regulator. So if you like what you see, please subscribe. Doesn't cost anything, keeps YouTube happy and promotes my channel. Hit the bell for notifications, leave me a comment, I love comments, and click the like button, and I'll catch you on part 5.